If you're a manager, you basically wake up every single day facing the same fundamental problem. You just can't have it all, right? You're being told, hey, deliver record growth, but in the same breath, they're saying, build a sustainable business for the future. You've got to hit those profit targets, but you also know you need to invest in your people. It feels like every single decision is a sacrifice, a trade-off, where you have to let go of something important.
So, is that really the whole story? Is business just this constant zero-sum game where every time you win in one area, you absolutely have to lose in another? It sure can feel that way. But what if I told you there's a simple tool, an economic model? Really, it's more like a visual map that can take these tangled, confusing conflicts and turn them into crystal-clear strategic decisions.
Well, that tool is called the Production Possibilities Frontier, or the PPF for short. And look, don't let the kind of academic name throw you off. Just think of it as a map. It's a map that shows you the absolute limits of what's possible with what you've got. It's designed to take that gut feeling of conflict and make it visual, a choice that your whole team can actually see and understand.
Okay, to make this really stick, let's get our hands dirty. Let's imagine you're the project manager for a big development called Tanjung Lesung. Now, you've got a fixed amount of land, a set budget, and a certain number of workers. And your board, they're totally split. Half of them want to build this massive, sprawling tourist resort for maximum profit. The other half, they want to create a world-class eco-conservation park. So, what do?
First things first, we build our map. The vertical line, the y-axis, that's going to represent growth. We'll measure that in the number of resort rooms we can build. Then you have the horizontal line, the x-axis. That's our sustainability goal, measured in acres of land we set aside for conservation. Immediately, just by drawing these two lines, you can literally see the tension between your two goals.
And now, here comes the kind of magic part. We draw a curve connecting the maximums of both axes. This curve, this is the frontier. Any point along this line represents a perfectly efficient outcome. And what does that mean? It means every single dollar, every worker, every square inch of land is being used to its absolute maximum potential. This line is the best you can possibly do with the resources you have right now.
And right away, this map tells you three incredibly important things about your project. If you find yourself operating on the curve, congratulations, you are a star manager. You are perfectly efficient. But if your operations land you somewhere inside the curve, that's a huge red flag. That means you're wasting something, money, time, land. It's a clear sign of a problem that needs to be fixed. And what about any point outside the curve? Well, that's your ambition. It's impossible today, but that point shows you where things like innovation, new technology, or more investment could take you tomorrow.
Okay, so we've got our map, we understand the zones, but how does this actually help us make the tough call? Here's the most important part. The PPF doesn't give you the right answer. No, instead, it makes the cost of each possible answer painfully clear.
Let's look at point A, way up high on that growth axis. This is the go big or go home strategy. We're talking maximum resort rooms, maximum revenue. But the map forces us to see the trade-off. And this is the key term, the opportunity cost of building that last block of rooms is massive. To get there, we had to sacrifice almost all of our conservation land. The graph makes that sacrifice totally impossible to ignore.
All right, now let's swing to the complete opposite extreme. Point B, all the way over on the sustainability axis. This is our ecotourism model. Here you've created this pristine, world-class nature preserve, but again, the map shows us the opportunity cost. In order to protect that very last acre of forest, you've given up the chance to build a huge, profitable resort. You've traded massive growth for maximum environmental integrity.
And then there's point C, sitting somewhere in the middle of the curve. This is the balanced approach. Now, you don't have the most rooms, and you don't have the most conservation land. But what you do have is something unique. A beautiful resort that's literally right next to a protected park. See, this isn't just a weak compromise, it's a deliberate, strategic choice to create a completely different kind of value by blending both of your goals.
And this really gets us to the deepest lesson the PPF has to offer. It's a tool for honesty. It makes everyone in that boardroom, the growth at all costs people and the save the planet champions, look at the exact same map and admit that resources are finite. You simply cannot have it all. And that's not a sign of failure. It's about facing the fundamental economic reality of scarcity. Which brings us to the ultimate takeaway for any leader. Your job isn't to magically maximize everything at once. That's impossible. Your real job is to optimize. It's to look at this map of what's possible and deliberately choose the one single spot on that frontier, whether it's A, B, or C, that best serves your unique brand, your customers, and your long-term vision.
At the end of the day, the PPF is just a powerful framework for strategic honesty. It forces all of us to confront the reality of opportunity cost, that powerful idea that every yes to one thing is an unavoidable no to something else. So, as a leader, maybe the most important question you can ask isn't, what do we want to achieve? But rather, to get what we truly want, what are we willing to give up?